Hey, how's it going? So today's a really fun video because we're going to be doing some more Orgonite pieces with resin. So that's the process of layering inorganic and organic materials in a compact form, and I'm going to be using some quartz crystals and some flowers and some wool and whatever I have in stock. I will be showing you the process along the way, but here's one of my favorite ones that turned out. So this is a coiled quartz crystal with a pink petal. The first layer of material is wool, and it looks really cool, like mist is rolling over the scene, and I think it's so beautiful. Also, for the first time in this video, I'm going to be sculpting my own crystal out of some clay and then making a mold of that, and I'll talk through the process of that really quickly. It turned out all right. Like, it's not my favorite, but it's definitely like a good starting point to like create my own like larger crystals. So that's what we're going to be starting off with. So thanks for watching. So making this crystal from scratch, I tried to get the edges to be as sharp as possible because I knew I was going to be losing a little bit of the detail once I make a mold of it and pour it in resin, and it just loses a little bit of detail, which is why I made this little symbol. I wanted to really test how much detail I could keep after casting it, and who doesn't love a cute spiral symbol, so why not? Then I covered it with 4 or 5 layers of latex mold builder over a couple days, and it was all good to go. Next, I got all my materials organized. For this project, I used copper and steel fibers, rose and crystal quartz, an assortment of flowers, gold leaf, and sea glass. I also used a little bit of pink dye at the end. Spiraling the wire around the crystal is the most relaxing and calming part of the process, I think. It just really gives me a chance to admire the beauty and how each stone is so unique, as it's important to stay tranquil while working on Orgonite. I like to focus on the stillness of the atmosphere while working on them. My dream would be to make original Orgonite just from materials that I've collected myself from nature. I think I have to do a little bit more research because I was kind of confused about something. Orgonite is made by layering inorganic and organic material, but I'm aware of several places in Ontario, which is where I live, that you can find naturally occurring copper and nickel and pyrite. So I was wondering if I could use those metals as an inorganic substance. I really don't know the science behind that, so I might look into that. But either way, I'd love to find my own quartz crystals and keep using my own mica and flower petals and find all the organic substance that I can just within local nature. I feel like that really lends something to the process as well, at least making it a little bit more special to me. Next, I snip the wires to get the toothpicks out of the way so I can start working on the next layer, which for some of them is going to be some wool. So I first dip the wool in resin to avoid any of the air bubbles. It looks like slime, which is kind of weird. And for the other ones, the first layer I use are the copper fibers, and I just add a little bit of resin and then material and continue this process 4 or 5 times using different materials and trying different effects. And next I want to put some of these tiny raw sapphire crystals that I have as a layer between the copper and the steel. I also add in a little bit of sea glass and quartz crystals as well. So using gold leaf is always a mess for me, but it was particularly difficult today because my hands were pretty sticky from the resin already, and I just didn't even use a tool. I just like picked it up and it stuck to my fingers. So for a couple hours I had just like very gold fingertips. I should really start wearing gloves or trying a little bit harder. Kind of a fail. But then I just add the steel layer, which is the bottom, and I like to keep the darkest colors at the bottom. I think that really grounds the piece, which I kind of like. And to make it a little bit different from my last few pieces, I wanted to see what would happen if I drizzled a little bit of resin on the bottoms to see if that would seep through or interact with the other materials in an interesting way. This is just a really pretty pigment that I have. It's like pink that shimmers blue, which is really nice. And I thought matched the rose crystals really nicely too. So while unmolding them, I found very little work to do, which is my favorite thing to happen. I love when all they need is a little bit of sanding on the edges just to make them not so sharp, and just a few dots of resin to clean up all the sanded edges to give it a real nice shine, and just let them cook in the sun for the rest of the day. I love making Orgonite for what it represents. I love that they inspire calm and thoughtfulness, and it's just fun to explore the metaphysical world once in a while. So I definitely want to make more larger custom crystals in the future, and I really hope to find one in the wild that I can just make a mold of. But until then, I'm definitely happy with how these guys turned out. They are definitely my favorite ones that I've done so far, and next step I just have to photograph them to put them on my Etsy shop. And I hope I can make some more Orgonite crystals and pyramids soon.